Thank you. All right, all set?
All rise, please.
Okay, so that was that. The question is whether deliberations can conclude at 4 p.m. So that this juror who's got a
Okay, ladies
previous
and gentlemen,
commitment
so
that's been longstanding
Masters
can
is
be made
reading
later in
jury
the day.
return
The judge approves, no
question.
objections from either side. So that one
They have
was an easy
questions.
one. And that was just a couple of seconds ago. The deputy brought the note back in. They're good, and the clock is ticking again. And our clock for a break is ticking as well. So we're going to do that when we come back. We'll take you back to Tennessee for the brother-sister murder trial.
But he wants super straight,
Okay,
super white
ladies and
teeth.
gentlemen, so
They
we're
want
just
that
gonna,
Hollywood
we will
white
just
smile.
mute that and, dump it somewhere down the bottom until it comes back. I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in to FFN Network's breaking news. The jury has come back from requesting, but they're there because they're asking, they got questions that they have to ask. So yeah, that's the deal with that. So we're just sitting here and we're just waiting on more information. And I'm trying to reach out to our colleagues to get everybody informed on what's going on. Yeah, let's see. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is breaking news for us, and we're still waiting to get that stuff in there. All right. So again, I'm sending out details to my colleagues to get them out here and to join the conversation. So, with that being said, we're just waiting on everybody. We're waiting on the jury to come back. The jury is back, but they have questions, ladies and gentlemen. And we are live, as you can see on the bottom right hand corner. I'd like to thank Court TV. As a friend, I would like to thank Court TV for letting us, put information up there for you fine folks to see. And again, I am trying to get my colleagues in here. Mostly, one of my colleagues, he is on the way we see it. And one moment, please. Could you please lower that TV on the live broadcast right now? And he's been following the whole court case, and quite frankly, has a little bit more information than I do. So again, reaching out to my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. Everybody is waiting. Again, the jury for the Karen Reed case has come back and has questions for the judge. So we're gonna see what that will. Okay. I'm still looking, waiting for response. again, ladies and gentlemen, the jury has come back in on the Karen Reed case. It's not the verdict, so I apologize for the opening content. And again, where the I'm sorry, I'm a little worked up. This is surprising to me. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring this back up. Let's get this going. Let's light up.
Brother-sister murder case.
Okay.
Two
Right.
siblings
Now we're
on
going to talk
trial
about
accused
other
of
stuff, ladies and
murdering
gentlemen, for right
their
now.
mother.
And again, we're waiting for the verdict to come in. To see what exactly uh, the what the questions might be for I guess the judge. Here we go with all right. This is back to court. Mass versus Karen Reed jury deliberation. 2 hours and going to be 3 hours that they've been in here. But the reason for the breaking news on the FFN network here is because the jury will be coming in to they got a question for the judge. So okay. Uh, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is kind of breaking news. The jury's coming in. The Karen Reed case, FFN Network is covering the break-in. And as far as we know, the jury has come back in to ask questions. Yeah. Okay, and we got one of my colleagues that have bounced in here. One of my colleagues there, he definitely had he definitely flew to his desk, that's for sure, to get all of this information out. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the jury has come back to the court to ask the judge questions. It's not about the verdict. Again, our breaking news comment says the Karen Reed verdict. This is not about the verdict, ladies and gentlemen, but the the jury has come back. They want to ask the judge some questions, and that's what we are waiting for right now. How are you, B? Thank you for joining me.
Good morning.
As you know, this is one of our colleagues on the FFN network. He also is the host of Politicking with Mr. B. That show will air tonight, ladies and gentlemen, from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on the FFN network, followed by I-12GIA Real Talk with Real People from 8 to 9 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to miss these shows. And I just can't, this is all exciting to us here on a network. And yeah, B, anything to add? Anything to add?
I cannot stress enough that this is the Karen Reed trial is something that has gone on, dragged on, and languished on, and there have been so many people with so many questions who turn around and point and think and look, and it's good to see that the general public are paying attention and realizing that what's going on over here is absolutely crazy, and for the jury to be asking questions about anything at this point is telling me I'm of the opinion that they are never going to be able to come to a consensus of anything. It's going to wind up being a hung jury, and they're going to wind up declaring a mistrial. That is my personal if you will, prediction.
Do you think a hung jury be? What made you come to that conclusion?
Well, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
That's okay. What made you come to that conclusion of a hung jury? You know, that's kind of not unfeasible, right? And
No,
maybe that's why they're coming back, because they had questions for the judge.
well, I understand. I understand that, but they can have whatever questions they like and ask this and ask that. Uh, they are going to have people that are on a jury who are absolutely, oh well, no matter what happens, these are cops, and cops said what they said, and cops don't lie, blah blah blah. And there's going to be other ones that are there who are going to see through all of the muck and mire that has been thrown around, and the crazy things like saying that this lady backed up over this guy and there's a broken piece of tail light and a snowplow came through there, but somehow or another the broken piece of tail light was found there after the snowplow came through, after this guy was found there. They couldn't possibly all come to exactly the same agreement to cause a rendering a firm decision one way or the other. It's to me it would be a mathematical impossibility.
Well, I gotta tell you right now, let me just click the volume up over here and see what this is all about.
Alec Baldwin was the actor on set. Right away, let's reload.
Alec Baldwin claims he didn't pull the trigger. Well, the
So
FBI
that's the Alec Baldwin case. When that goes to Court TV, FFN Network will be also covering that, as we covered the Karen Reed case. And again, ladies and gentlemen, the appreciation and the overflow of viewership that is just outstanding here. If you got any questions or anything to that nature, just send them right here into us right now. You can call the show at 508-974-4231, okay? Or you can email us at ffnnetwork9@gmail.com. Go visit our website at ffnnetwork.org. And you can watch us live there. If you have any kind of cutouts on X, Facebook, YouTube, Daily Motion, Tribo, Instagram, Jesus, it goes on, folks. We are live simultaneously on every one of those platforms. We are on 14 platforms right now, and we only miss one here on the FFN Network. The FFN Network offers a variety of shows on the network that start from Monday all the way through Friday, and all shows start at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the United States. With that being said, you can see, ladies and gentlemen, on our screen that there's a commercial running, and we are waiting for the jury to come in, and they have questions for the judge. If you're just joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, the Karen Reed jury that was sequestered has asked the judge if they could come back because they have some questions. Okay? With that being said, Mr. B is here from Politicking with Mr. B. He is one of our colleagues and hosts of his own show, again, Politicking with Mr. B, which will air tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Mr. B has a guest. If you would like to explain to the audience real quick, Mr. B, on what you got going on your show tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, many of you, I want to thank you all the viewers for coming and watching and returning again. Tonight we have Therese Bastarach, a young lady from here in New Hampshire who is running for the executive board or executive council here in New Hampshire. A lot of people don't know what that is. The executive council, it's like a board of overseers or like a Senate Finance Committee. In the 50 United States, the governor of New Hampshire is the weakest governor that could possibly be, because anything having to do with budgets, unless something on an emergency basis, has to go through and get approval and discussion and hearings through on the executive board. And we've got a caller coming in. Go ahead, Elizabeth, you want to go ahead and grab that?
Hey, caller, you're on the air with a special edition of the FFN network. The Karen Reed, a jury has asked the judge, and they would like to come in with some questions. Where are you from? And go ahead. Okay, I think the caller hung up. Yes, sir. Yes. The caller had hung up.
All right.
Go ahead, B.
Getting back to it, well, Therese Bastarache is a young lady who is running because apparently there is an awful lot of political muck and mires going on in the system as it is, and there's a bunch of quirky things that have gone on with it. It is plainly obvious that the New Hampshire governor Sununu and a lot of the political insiders do not want to see someone like Teresa Bastarache, because she is a very, very pro transparency person, for lack of better words, and it's time. It's time, I think, something like that. The dynamic lady.
Hello, caller. You're on the air with FFN Network. How can we help you? Okay, I don't know. They're calling and they're hanging up.
Well, we'll try it again. Maybe they're not hearing us or something, or thinking something happened. Anyway, Therese Bastarache is an incredible firecracker, and I got to tell you, you're not going to believe some of the things that you're going to see. But we do have the video recorded and paper documentation as well that goes along with this story. Once you see this, if you think Karen Reed is one incredibly screwed up story, you're not going to believe what happened here. I'll give you a little tape. This lady was in an executive board meeting, watching and whatever else, and she blurted out, or somehow outcast, the word "amen." Believe it or not, the state police took her into custody, and according to the documentation, the physical written documentation, she was charged with uttering the word "amen" in a public meeting. That was the charge. That's why they say that he was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor.
Right. So,
believe
ladies and gentlemen, if you're just sorry, B, I gotta keep everybody informed. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining the show, I know that the content that you're reading, the primary break-in Karen Reed verdict is in. The verdict is not in, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the jury that was requested sent a letter to the judge asking if they could come back to ask questions. Okay. And where we are sitting here and we are waiting for that to happen. In the meantime, we're gonna put up some videos and we're gonna see some of the stuff that has happened over the course of the trial. And ladies and gentlemen, please hit us up in the comment section. Do you believe that Karen Reed is being framed or she did it? Type a comment. Is Karen Reed guilty or is she being framed, ladies and gentlemen? Stick with FFN Network right here. You're not going to miss a damn thing. We're going to be here until that jury comes back with the question for the judge. Please stick around for more of the FFN Network with Karen Reed, jury requested information. Let's try this again. Hey, caller, you're on the air with FFN Network.
Thank you for using callmylostphone.com.
Okay, callmylostphone.com. Okay. I don't know. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, stick around right here. Don't go nowhere. If you're at work or you're doing whatever, leave your phone on. You don't got to watch the video, because if you don't want the employer seeing your face in the phone, okay, just put it on the side of you. You can hear everything. You don't got to watch video. It'll be like listening to radio. Okay, FFN Network. How can we help you this morning? Okay, I'm just gonna have to put that. I don't know what's going on here with the calls, but we will be.
By the way, Blaze, if you don't mind, I want to mention. I want to reach out and thank the Court TV people for allowing us to use their content.
Absolutely,
and putting out there. It's instrumental in helping us to bring the information to the public. Thank you very much, Court TV, and we look forward to continuing to work alongside you.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back in a couple of minutes, okay? In approximately 5 minutes, we'll come back. If anything happens during our break, ladies and gentlemen, we will cut right in. Don't go anywhere. Stay here. We're live on the FFN network with the Karen Reed jury asking the judge for questions, or asking the judge questions. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, in about 5 minutes.
My name is Steven, your Public Relations Officer at FFN Media Network. We believe that every story deserves to be heard. Every voice deserves to be amplified, and every idea deserves to shine. As a small media company, we are committed to creating a platform where content creators, visionaries, and changemakers like you can thrive. You might say to yourself, why do we need FFN Network? Well, let me tell you what we can do for you. 1. Our mission is simple: empower, elevate, and engage. We are not just another media outlet. 2. Our producers will help you build your show, add content, and put you on 15 different platforms. 3. We help you promote your show. Whether it is through captivating articles, thought-provoking videos, or inspiring podcasts, we are here to help you make a difference. What sets us apart? At FFN Media Network, we embrace hard work. Our team of talented producers and creators come from all social classes, ensuring that our content reflects a rich tapestry of experiences, cultures, and viewpoints. Join the FFN team. Join FFN Media Network and be part of a community that celebrates creativity, authenticity, and positive impact. Let us amplify your voice and share your story on FFN Network and with the world. Get to know our founder, Blaise St. Pierre, the new guy in the media industry. So if you have a great idea for a show or a business and want to place an ad on FFN Network, give us a call at 774-704-5145 or email us at ffnnetwork9@gmail.com and join the FFN Network family. Thank you. FFN Network.
Okay, B, if you could take over this show, I have a personal call right now. Okay? All right.
Well,
Thank
ladies
you.
and gentlemen, we're here waiting for information to come from the court system about the Karen Reed issues. The jury, as you know, has been given the case to deliberate, and for some reason or other, the jury has seen fit to reach out to the judge and say, we've got some questions. What the questions are right now, it is unclear. The jury themselves are sequestered, and I cannot imagine what it must be like being away from your family, away from your homes, and so forth, and dealing with this. Not only when you're sequestered, you're put in your own little hotel rooms and whatever else. You stay morning, noon, and night. This is the only thing you know. You've got nobody that you're able to really speak to or whatever. The judge, I'm sure, has told the people when you're sequestered, where you're away, you cannot talk about this amongst yourselves, only during the deliberation times. So the amount of stressors that must be on these people is enormous, I'm certain. And to be thinking of all the nuances and all the nooks and crannies and twists and turns that have gone around in these stories. I mean, my late father used to say, you get us a scorecard. You can't tell players without a scorecard. Is the same thing that's going on here. There are so many different names, so many different angles, so many different ways that this entire case has evolved and turned around and rolled around. Certainly, ladies and gentlemen, there's got to be at least a lifetime movie coming out of this, because you and I both know you've got a group of Boston area police, you've got parties, you've got alcohol, and you've got a dead body on a front lawn or back lawn or side lawn or wherever it was. And you've got a wife that, by how many different accounts, they had a good relationship, they had a not so good relationship. There are so many twists and turns and so many different directions that the ideas could be coming from. It staggers the imagination of what this jury must be querying the judge about. And unfortunately, we're going to have to wait in time. As you know, Karen Reed was driving an SUV style vehicle the night that this, uh, if you will, killing, murder, whatever they want to call it, was alleged to have happened. Uh, and earlier in the evening, the decedent was at this house, at this party, and so forth. And uh, apparently, he wasn't discovered missing or whatever else, or his body wasn't found until sometime the next day. And there are so many even questions in the autopsy report, which was at best inconclusive as to exactly what it was that killed the man and why. Although things were documented, and I mean they were documented, there were bite marks and whatnot on this body. Why wasn't this at all a consideration in the autopsy report? There were so many indications that there was some kind of a major altercation that happened between people, and the entire thing just stinks to high hell. So now we sit and we wait and we watch and we hope and we pray. And the most important thing that we all hope for, you see that flag behind me over here? We hope that justice is served, ladies and gentlemen. And we do hope that the truth does come out. And I'm sure the people who are impaneled on this jury at this point must be seeking exactly the same thing. And I couldn't possibly hope to opine exactly what may be on their minds and what they're going to be
Me
asking.
personally, I don't think she did it. I don't think she did it. Ladies and gentlemen, call into the show at 508-974-4231. Leave a comment, ladies and gentlemen. We can receive your comments soon as you put them in. I'm pretty sure of it. I know X changed their policy a little bit. So we should be able to see your content if you type a comment in the comment section. Do you think that Karen Reed is guilty of murdering her boyfriend, Boston police officer Kiefer? What's his last name? I don't know his last name.
Don't know. I honestly do not know.
Something. Anyways, yeah. Let's see. Karen Reed. Okay. Yeah. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we are waiting for the judge and the jury the jury requested to the judge that they have some questions that they want to ask the judge about, of course, the case. And with that being said, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, look, don't go nowhere. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. If anything happens during the course of our break, we will jump in. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around for more of the special Breaking Karen Reed right here on the FFN network. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back in about 5 minutes.
My name is Steven, your public relations officer at FFN Media Network. We believe that every story deserves to be heard. Every voice deserves to be amplified, and every idea deserves to shine. As a small media company, we are committed to creating a platform where content creators, visionaries, and changemakers like you can thrive. You might say to yourself, why do we need FFN Network? Well, let me tell you what we can do for you. 1. Our mission is simple: empower, elevate, and engage. We are not just another media outlet. 2. Our producers will help you build your show, add content, and put you on 15 different platforms. 3. We help you promote your show. Whether it is through captivating articles, thought-provoking videos, or inspiring podcasts, we are here to help you make a difference. What sets us apart? At FFN Media Network, we embrace hard work. Our team of talented producers and creators come from all social classes, ensuring that our content reflects a rich tapestry of experiences, cultures, and viewpoints. Join the FFN team. Join FFN Media Network and be part of a community that celebrates creativity, authenticity, and positive impact. Let us amplify your voice and share your story on FFN Network and with the world. Get to know our founder, Blaise St. Pierre, the new guy in the media industry. So if you have a great idea for a show or a business and want to place an ad on FFN Network, give us a call at 774-704-5145 or email us at ffnnetwork9@gmail.com. And join the FFN Network family. Thank you. FFN Network.
Well, I've got spare parts from my last broken heart. Somehow more than what I had to start. Yeah, I've got spare parts. I tried to fix it best I remembered it. I hope it runs when I fire it up, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be a perfect fit, 'cause I got spare parts. Took a piece of you, like lovers often do. I'll try to make it good as new, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got it right here.
Finding by the jury.
Yes, that's what the verdict slip reads. It reads not guilty. If they don't check block 2, 3, or 4, the verdict slip reads not guilty. Okay? That's how it is, Mr. Jackson.
Well, apparently that's how it's going to be because of the court's order. That is not how it should be, and it's over our strong objection. They need to see that there is a not guilty option for the subordinate charges. If they come back guilty on, for instance, involuntary manslaughter, that's immediately appealable. They didn't have an option on the verdict form to find her not guilty. It's almost like the court is directing a verdict of the subordinate charges.
Wow.
Okay. I disagree with you. Mr. Yannetti, you've seen verdict slips exactly like this. Okay?
I actually haven't really.
Have you had no lesser included?
No, we've always had lesser included, but I have not seen a verdict slip there where not guilty is not an option for the record.
Okay. I disagree with you. All right. Excuse me. This is funny, Ms. Reed. All right, we're done.
All rise for the court, please.
What the hell?
Oh, did you see Karen Reed's face there in the judge's comment saying, "This is funny, Miss Reed"? Apparently, she must have been laughing at this. Nothing funny about the crimes she's accused of.
Yeah, because I would sit there as well.
I'm looking at the verdict form.
Okay,
And if we can call
yeah,
it up, I want to
would
go
laugh,
through it with
say,
you
know
now.
how much
because
more
I
you're going
see
to
what this is
screw
about.
me
It helps
over.
if we can visually look at it.
Let's get a look at this, please.
Stand by for just a second while we get those forms. Apparently, Alan Jackson has an issue with the way the form is written. But what's important to understand is these are standard forms that are used. This wasn't just specially made up for Karen Reed's case. This is a standard form for every case, and that was the judge's comment to David Yannetti, who practices in this jurisdiction and has for years, when she said, "You see forms like this all the time, Mr. Yannetti," and he denied it. He said, "No, I don't." But, okay, so this is page one of the form. So we've got murder in the second degree is the first charge they're going to consider. That's the most serious of which. And you see how there are two options there. Now let's go to page 2, and I'll show you where the argument from Alan Jackson lies. Here we have the crime of manslaughter at the very top. And you see the options. The jury can select not guilty, and then see how it goes, guilty of the offense is charged, manslaughter while operating a motor vehicle. There are lesser includeds, involuntary manslaughters by number 3, motor vehicle homicide is by number 4. And what Alan Jackson was talking about, and I understand what he's saying, is that there isn't a separate line that says not guilty of that offense. What he's asking for is for not guilty writing to be next to each of these lesser includeds. And what the judge is saying is that it just simply wouldn't be checked by the jurors, that the instruction would be on those forms just to not check it at all if you find she's not guilty. He's taking issue with that. And I see, and when you see it too, you can see what I mean, how on the form, there are the lines where you could potentially place a check, and there's
this is all okay and fine and good, but what about the questions
if we can look
of,
at that,
of the
and
jury
this is
themselves?
the least serious.
Do we have any information about the jury itself, the questions that they're going to be asking? Has there been any indication?
Is talking about, and verdict forms are different in every jurisdiction.
I mean,
they are. It's going to look different in any state or commonwealth you go
let her
into.
finish.
So a couple of comments here. The judge ruled she's not going to adjust this form, saying that it's a standard form and it's going to be what it is in every case. She's not going to get a special line on her form. This is a live picture of the defendant walking outside of the courthouse, angry and upset about this and appearing to be laughing. The judge made the comment, something funny about this, Ms. Reed, and she was shaking her head. She's been very expressive. So all this being said, another comment I have,
you know,
you should have looked at the form sooner and raised this sooner before the jury is already out deliberating.
To recuse herself from this case.
To look at the form.
You know,
nothing is a secret in trial. Everybody's involved in the jury instructions that they get. You're going to see what the verdict form is. But apparently, her defense team is just now realizing this, and so now they're making a fuss about it. But again, it's a standard form. This wasn't created especially for her case. This is how they do it in Massachusetts, according to the judge. And she said that Mr. Yannetti could vouch for that, but he did not. He did not. He said, "I've never seen one like this." Ooh, so we'll see what's going to happen next. What's the defense going to do? You heard Alan Jackson. He's saying this is going to be an immediate appealable issue if they find her guilty. He used the example of involuntary manslaughter, which would be number 3 on page 2. We'll see what happens. Why don't we do this? Why don't we hit a break? We'll hit a break, and then we will return to Tennessee.
When they go to break, I have some.
And also, as we head to break, our director, our wonderful director, Naomi, has helped us out with a freeze frame
I don't think she's
so
smiling
you can see
to
Karen
be
Reed's face when the judge said, "Is something funny about
That's not
this?"
a smile. That's more of an incredulous look, if you ask me. I think that woman is
It's
saying, I
not
can't believe this shit that I'm seeing here.
exactly. What else am I going to get screwed over about now? You know what I mean? Because I would have been like, like she did. Here's I mean, my God, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen, this
By all means, I truly try and strive every day in my life to be a reasonable person. And myself as a reasonable person, if I were faced with the forms that were filled out like that, and knowing what I know, having seen what I have seen of this case as it's progressed by step through the trial, I would be checking the box, not guilty, and I'm going home.
right. Well, what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is while we're waiting for more information to come back from, again, thank you, Court TV, for allowing us to run this on our FFN network media. We're going to go back and we're going to show a couple of videos on, what inspired and how this happened for those of you that are just joining the show. Okay. The verdict is not in, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for the content. We were ready for the verdict to come in to go live as a special like we are now. The jury has questions for the judge. And yes, that's what we're waiting on, the questions. Right now, the defense had spoken to the judge about discrepancies. That would be a good word to use. Discrepancies in the filing of guilty verdicts, not guilty verdicts, etc. B, would you like to elaborate?
Yeah. Apparently, the way the forms were written, jurors could either check in a box that the person was just not guilty, or on page 1, guilty of blah 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 yada yada. Okay, fine. Very simple, very easy. It's either you're guilty or not guilty of this crime. On page number 2, there was a box again to check. Number 1, not guilty, or number 2, which came along with 2A, B, C, D, blah blah blah, different degrees, guilty of different, if you will,
manslaughter, guilty of second-degree murder, premeditated murder, things like that. Right?
Murder, manslaughter 1, manslaughter 2, blah blah, this, that, yada yada, and it to some people that could be confusing, but to myself, it would be okay. I don't think she's guilty of this or that or that. I'm going to just check not guilty, period. But, however, apparently the defense team believes it would have been befitting of them to put a guilty of this or not guilty of this. Guilty
right.
Of this or not guilty
not
of this.
Guilty of that, right.
Guilty of
but they're
this
not giving it the option. There's more guilty than anything.
Right.
Only at the top on the first page, not guilty. Everything else down the bottom is like, guilty of this or guilty of that.
In this particular instant case, the way things were spelled out and enumerated, I can see how the defense and even the prosecution would believe that this form, as filled out or laid before these people, could be attempting to steer the jury towards some form of a guilty finding.
Right.
And I do believe that they are correct in raising this issue and bringing it forward. Now,
right. And one of the issues is that again, we're going to show this video, and this video that we're going to show right now is inverted video leads to many questions at Karen Reed trial. This video we're about to show, ladies and gentlemen, is being said by the defense that the prosecuting team flipped this video. Okay. In other words, The video, her SUV should be pointing towards the left of our screen, and it's pointing towards the right of our screen, pulling into the gas station. If you flip this image, okay, you would see the taillight. And that's why the question is being asked that the video was flipped, so you couldn't see that side of the taillight. Let's take a look at that right after we look at this quick comment right here. And this is from Ann Hartford, and she agrees. Ann, if you could, what do you think? Are they setting her up, or did she do it? With that being said, we're going to run this video.
Video of Reed's SUV that prosecutors showed to the jury may not be what it seems. This video appears to be flipped. The image of it, the defense says flipped on purpose. News Center 5's David Bienick live at the courthouse in Dedham to explain more. David.
Erica, this revelation came at the end of today's testimony here, and it caught everyone off guard. Some jurors even looked at each other quizzically, and some may have wondered if they'd just been tricked. The video shows police pulling Karen Reed's SUV into the Canton Police Department garage after it was seized as evidence. The video appears to show the passenger side, including the passenger side taillight, which prosecutors say was damaged after Reed allegedly backed into John O'Keefe and killed him.
I testify that this is a accurate scene.
But under cross-examination, State Police investigator Yuri Buhenik confirmed the video is actually inverted. It shows not the passenger side, but the driver's side of the SUV. At one point, it shows the driver getting out.
Not once did you mention that this video is actually completely inverted.
I did not know.
How did you discover that the image was inverted?
I saw the word police and thought I had dyslexia.
In the video, the word police appears backwards on another vehicle parked in the garage. So does the number 4 on one of the garage's overhead doors.
Boom.
Defense attorney Alan Jackson believes it was no accident.
The timestamp
This car
across
is
the
not
bottom
over a
is
year
not
somewhere
inverted, which
where they
means
drive
somebody
along
had
the
to
side
put
of the road.
Yeah, you can't fake that. And that's like here when we do our show. Okay, in order for you to see the way you're seeing it back here, and I'm going to give everybody an example. Okay, one moment. Okay, now if you draw your attention to me, Blaze Man, and watch when I invert, okay, the video.
Right.
Okay. All right. Everything is backwards, especially letters. Okay. You really can't tell, from the pictures unless you zoom in and all that stuff like that. Now, this is a mirrored image, inverted. Okay. Well, obviously, I can't come on a show because you're going to be reading FFN network backwards, all that stuff like that. Anything I have going is going to be backwards. Okay. So, that right there is factual, ladies and gentlemen. They flipped it for whatever reason to fool somebody. And Miss Ann says, setting her up. Absolutely. It's ridiculous. So Ann thinks that she's getting railroaded as always. Ladies and gentlemen.
I want to make a statement here. I want to make a clarification for us. We know and we can see that this image is a reversal. We know that it is, if you will, backwards. How this happened and whom produced it this way, we don't know for a fact, because it has not been categorically proven in court that it was done deliberately with the intent expressly to deceive the court and the jury. We don't know that for a fact.
Why would they flip it?
There are a myriad of reasons why this.
One of the biggest arguments, for the prosecution
I understand
is
that.
the taillight on that car.
I understand that. But we cannot say that we know categorically that it was deliberately done.
I think it was.
We can opine that, yes. And, I personally draw to the conclusion that yes, it was done. However, has it been categorically proven in a court of law? No, it hasn't. So we cannot say categorically that it was deliberately done in order
Well,
to
it
deceive.
made a big difference, B, when the defense brought it up.
I know
The
I know
jury
that.
was actually like out, like it was reported on the video. Are we being bamboozled? Are we being lied to?
Blaze, if we go ahead and turn around and categorically say that, then we would be as bad as anyone else immediately turning around and saying Donald Trump did this and boom,
Well, I
it's
disagree.
absolutely true.
I disagree.
We cannot, we cannot draw to a conclusion until something has been proven categorically in a court of law. We can't do it.
Listen, again, I am not saying that. Well, I am saying it because I can see it. Just like the jury can see it, just like the defense can see it, that this video was altered and verted and flipped. Why? Why? Because you can't see the passenger side deflectors in the back of the car. You can't see how much damage is there. That is the 100% crucial evidence to this case, okay, of why he had marks on his arm. Why didn't his head get split open? Things to that nature. They had accident recreation companies come in and saying, even if she did hit him at the speed she was going and to that effect, wouldn't have put a mark on him, but knocked him down. That's it. Not one mark on him. You wouldn't even have broke the taillight, okay? Then we have another video that we continuously showed here on the FFN network, and mostly when we covered it on The Way We See It on Tuesday night, 7 to 9 p.m. right here on the FFN network, of her SUV backing up into another SUV as she left the driveway. Okay. In the video, you can clearly see that she bumps the other SUV. You can see the other SUV's wheels moving back as she bumps into it. Okay. Now, if you're trying to hide evidence in any kind of way or alter evidence in any kind of way, you're definitely going to want to flip that image because you don't want a video expert zooming in on that goddamn taillight in the back to say, well, it ain't as busted as you people claimed it to be busted. Okay? It's fully intact. They removed it. They could have done anything to it. Remember, 60% of the people that were in that house when this, my opinion, fight broke out were law enforcement. Okay?
And a dog.
Their intent maybe was not to kill him, but they beat the shit out of him, in my opinion, because everything that the evidence shows to me by watching this was he was beat up and he was attacked by the dog. Now, I know it's a little bit too late, but I'll tell you right now, and this dawned on me for a while, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And I want everybody really to put this in your mind, okay? If I was investigating, and I had talked about this for a couple of months with my wife here and there, and I don't understand why I didn't mention it on the show, but I'm mentioning it now. When this happened, and the idea of a dog jumping up, and he's got his arm like this, protecting himself, the dog scratching him, trying to bite him, get in there on him, blah, blah, blah. Should have brought animal control in there, sedated the goddamn dog, and got the fucking DNA. Excuse my language, ladies and gentlemen, because it's pissing me off. Should have got the DNA from underneath this dog's goddamn fingernails. And I'll tell you right now, you know what was going to show, B? If they did that, you know what it was going to show, B? It was going to show that man's DNA underneath that dog's fingernails.
There was some form of contact between that dog and the decedent.
Okay. There's no doubt in my mind, and that's what a juror is supposed to look at. A thing like that, and it's.
Do we have any more information from the court TV people, or is that
no? They're still sitting there. They're talking about the Murray murder there, brother and sister murder trial. We're still waiting for them to pop up. It's been now 3 hours and 47 minutes and 44 seconds that the jury has been deliberating.
Juries can deliberate for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours.
Oh yeah,
They
of
can
course.
deliberate for 6 days.
Of course.
It all depends on how
Okay.
how they work out and things out. They may
Right.
come out to the conclusion within a pair 2 or 3 or 4 days that they just can't come to an agreement, or they may turn around and say to the judge, we're not in agreement yet, but we think we're close and we want to continue to deliberate. And it's a crapshoot. It truly is. You never know how or when a jury is going to wind up coming in.
That's true. I agree with you. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to show a little bit of video for those of you that, are working and all that stuff like that. We get it. You can't watch too much of the trial. So what we're going to do while we're waiting for this jury's questions to the judge on what's going on, we're going to show a video that will pretty much give you a basic idea and some of the evidence that has been put together in this trial. Again, for those of you that have been trying to follow it, but only getting bits and pieces here and there, catching a video on YouTube or whatever, FFN Network has been running specials and has been covering the Karen Reed story on The Way We See It on the FFN Network every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m., followed by Wednesday, Politicking with Mr. B from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on the FFN Network, and by I-12 GIA, Real Talk with Real People, from 8 to 9 p.m. right here on the FFN Network, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to miss any of those shows. They're all fantastic. Stick with us right here, ladies and gentlemen. Do not go anywhere. We are going to be here until we hear something. With that being said, we're going to run a short video for everyone that is familiar with the case, and for those of you that only know a little bit about what's going on. So if anything happens, if the jury pops in or anything that bounces to Mass versus the Karen Reed, the jury has been in deliberations for 3 hours and 50 minutes right now.
Blaze, before you begin, can you fill us in? Where does this video come from, and who do we thank for it?
These are Court TV videos.
These are all, so thank you again to the Court TV people for the use of their content.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's sit back, sip your coffee, and let's take a look at this video.
It was a frantic situation in front of Brian and Nicole Albert's home in Canton, Massachusetts on the morning of January 29th, 2022. Police, emergency vehicles, first responders, and 3 civilian women were on the scene. On the front lawn of that home, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, partially buried in the snow, frozen and lifeless. It was the scene of a tragic death, and prosecutors say it was murder. One of the 3 women who had pulled up to the scene was Karen Reed. She was described as hysterical by witnesses. She was John O'Keefe's girlfriend. She attempted CPR before first responders arrived. She was physically and mentally shaken. Witnesses say she was repeating the phrase, "I hit him, I hit him." Prosecutors believe that's a confession and have charged Karen Reed with the murder. Karen Reed doesn't agree. In fact, she's claiming her innocence and says she dropped John off at a party inside that house, and someone in that house murdered John and conspired with local and state police to frame her. And now the lead investigator on the stand and in the hot seat, being confronted by the defense with unprofessional, inappropriate comments he allegedly made about the investigation and the defendant, Karen Reed. Tonight, we'll examine the testimony of Trooper Michael Proctor as we continue our investigation into the tragic death of Officer John O'Keefe.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. We've got a big hour in store for you. And I don't know what your day was like. May not have been the best day of the week. You might have had a wonderful day. But I will say this, Lead investigator, Trooper Michael Proctor, he had a rough day. It was not easy for him. It was not easy for anyone to watch what happened today as he was being cross-examined and confronted with all the things that he had texted and written to high school.
Wait until you people listen to this guy's testimony. This is the head investigator. This guy blows my mind, ladies and gentlemen. Wait until you hear. Unbelievable.
It is my understanding that there are some things that this guy comes out with which are so flagrantly inane. It just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Let's listen, folks.
And his superiors, things that were completely and utterly, admittedly from his perspective, inappropriate, unprofessional, and 1,000% regrettable. One of the things that came out is that he hates David Yannetti. Hates him. Absolutely hates him. And he hates him because he claims that he has falsely accused him of doing things and has tarnished his reputation and his career. That's why he says he hates David Yannetti. Had to admit that on the witness stand. He also had to admit that he at least texted that he wanted Karen Reed to die by suicide. The defendant in the case. Now, he said it was just his emotions got the best of him. It's just an expression. But he's taking the time to actually text that. I believe that one was to his sister. So this is bad. And all the other things words that he's used and things that he's called the defendant and things that he has joked around with his buddies, et cetera, it's all bad. But it leads to one place, which is the question of, in light of all that, can he, as the lead investigator, lead a fair and impartial investigation in this case? That's the takeaway. Now, you can not like him, or you can discount it as, locker room talk, whatever your perspective is. But the most important part of all of that is whether or not, in light of doing all of this, he can lead a fair and impartial investigation of this defendant in the most serious of all types of investigations, a homicide/murder investigation. So let's bring in Court TV Crime and Justice correspondent Matt Johnson, joining us live from the courthouse in Dedham, Massachusetts, where all of this happened today. Tense and intense is the way I would describe it from here. How would you describe today? And what about when he has to get into his relationship with the Alberts?
Hey, Vinny, nice to see you. Well, I would describe it in one word: uncomfortable for everybody in that courthouse and that courtroom behind me. I was watching the jury. I was in the courtroom today, and the jury members were not too happy. They were reacting to this testimony today. The cross-examination of lead investigator Trooper Michael Proctor on the stand for almost the entire day, having to answer a lot of questions. And it was really the defense in those questions that were fueling their theory about a police cover-up, questioning him about why he didn't consider other suspects, why he didn't question other witnesses soon enough, because that was done months later, it turned out, and then his relationship with those Alberts, which seemed to evolve right in front of this jury's eyes today. Take a listen.
I did not know the McCabe's. I don't know most of the Alberts, and I have little to no relationship with Chris and Julie.
That was a lie, wasn't it?
No, absolutely not.
You stand by that testimony?
Yes.
That you don't know at the time that you testified, that you didn't know the Alberts or any members of the Albert family?
That I don't have relationships with them.
Okay. My question is, you keep going back to relationships. I'm asking you, did you testify that you didn't know them?
Objection.
I'll let him have it. Do you understand the question, Trooper?
I knew Chris, Julie, and Colin.
10 days before Mr. O'Keefe's death, you were texting with your sister about whether Julie Albert might be available to babysit for your own son, correct?
Yes.
So in fact, your relationship with the Alberts was close enough that you would consider leaving your own child in the hands of Julie Albert as a babysitter, as a caregiver for your toddler, correct?
I wouldn't say close enough.
Did you make any concerted efforts to keep Colin Albert's name out of this investigation?
No.
Why is it, Trooper Proctor, that Colin Albert's name fails to appear in a single police report until July 18, 2023?
Colin Albert was not at the home. He left at approximately 12:10 a.m. before anyone from the waterfall had arrived back there.
Before you ever interviewed Julie, your sister informed you that Julie actually wanted to get you a gift for your participation on this case, correct?
Yes.
You said you never asked for a gift, correct?
Correct.
What's your next text?
Get Elizabeth one.
Get Elizabeth one what?
Referring to a gift.
Right. So you did, in fact, ask for a gift, didn't you?
For my wife, who had been home with my children for the last 10 nights.
From Julie Albert?
Yes.
For your participation on this case?
I don't know if that's yes.
Trooper Proctor, after you knew that Canton Police Department was conflicted off the case, you continued to have a very close relationship with yet another Albert, Kevin Albert, correct?
We worked on a cold case together.
So you did have a close personal and professional relationship with Kevin Albert, didn't you?
I'd say it was a professional relationship.
Drinking, socializing, maybe?
Once in a while.
Right. So it went beyond professional, right?
Yeah, acquaintances.
Okay. Drinking acquaintances, right?
On several occasions, yes.
Socializing acquaintances, right?
On several occasions.
So when you told the jury a few minutes ago that you were aware of and knew of but didn't have relationships with 3 Alberts, Julie, Chris, and Colin, not quite true, is it?
Objection.
Sustained.
So as his characterization of each of those relationships of the Alberts change while he's on cross-examination, and Alan Jackson keeps asking the same question, I'm looking at the jury, and you had a juror that was rolling her eyes. You had another juror that was shaking her head when he was changing his answers. And then you had one woman that I was looking at that's in the jury box in the second row, and she was looking over at Reed. She put down her notepad, and then she turned her chair and started looking at Trooper Proctor in the witness box, and she started smirking. It's the most reaction that I've seen from this jury.
I don't think we've ever seen.
Can we hold the video,
in
please?
years.
We can hold a video. I just want to, B, before you jump in with your questions. For those of you that are just joining in, I'm getting some questions asked of me, and why do we say the verdict is in? FFN Network was sitting and waiting because the jury is sequestered, and, they say the jury could come in today, tomorrow, whatever. So FFN Network was waiting for the verdict. So we already had put out our statement comment for the viewers to see. Unfortunately, the verdict didn't come, but we decided to bounce live because the jury has questions for the judge. The defense attorney was just live prior, about 20 minutes ago, and was asking questions about the form and how the jury might read this form incorrectly. B, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to deeply apologize for any confusion.
Well, you don't have to apologize for confusion. Like I said, FFN Network was waiting for the verdict to come in. I didn't have time to switch the comment stating what the show was about, because the jury, again, it came on live, and we report everything that's live because we've been covering the case. Go ahead, B.
Right, well, yes. At this point, we've seen some tremendous examples here of witness testimony by the investigating officer, if you want to call it that or whatever, the man who
Okay,
has,
ladies and gentlemen, here we are.
An innocent woman. She didn't do it.
It's a controversial case.
Okay, they're
that's
running to a
divided
commercial. I'm
community.
sorry, I
Karen
thought they
Reed
were
is
jumping
accused
in.
of murdering her police officer.
Okay, we'll get right back to that, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, we're Johnny on the spot. Anything that comes up from that, we will cover it. Go ahead, B.
we've seen a prosecutor who sat there on the stand, who waffled and waffled and backed and forth and tried to play the game of semantics about, well, I knew of these people, but I didn't know them. But I happened to hire one of these people as a caregiver for my child, but I didn't know him that well. Who in the hell in their right mind, especially a police officer, would hire someone to take care of their own child that they didn't really know?
Right. This guy's testimony has more holes in it than anything. And the scary part, ladies and gentlemen, is he is the lead investigator.
And then when the defense attorney is asking questions about these inconsistencies or whatever, what does the judge do? As the prosecution raises an objection, the judge upholds the objection. Why? What is so wrong about the jury knowing the truth that this guy flagrantly lied on the stand? What does the judge want to do? Does she really want to take and again steer the jury towards finding a guilty verdict?
Again,
there's more things here that are coming that are pointing in the same direction, and that is saying that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, in their infinite wisdom, really does want to find that this lady is guilty, no matter what the cost. The image of justice at this point, to me, is no longer blind with a double-edged sword. It has an eye patch on, and it is holding the rudely stamped Buccaneers cutlass, my friend. And it is all meant to take and sink the ship of Karen Reed. I really don't believe that this woman is guilty of murder or involuntary manslaughter or voluntary manslaughter or sipping the wrong cup of tea at a cotillion, for that matter. I don't think this woman's guilty of anything other than being incredibly stupid to be in a relationship with a schmuck like and his friends like this.
I agree with you, B.
But here we are. So now we wait and we watch, and think of all the money that's being spent on this when the true people responsible for this person's death are not being brought to justice. Think about that. Think about that, and think of the railroading that's going on.
Yeah.
I can't in my deepest of thoughts and thought processes and mind, I cannot imagine what it is that would allow such a foul miscarriage of justice to be put forth. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Well, we're waiting for another colleague to pop in. He is the lead investigator for the FFN network on the Karen Reed show, and that is none other than Mr. D. Let's see here. All right. Okay. Yeah, he is a lead investigator. We're just waiting. His time is different from ours. So when I called him to let him know we were running, the story, he just had woke up. So he's getting showered and stuff like that. But he'll be with us. And again, we will be here from that. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. me get that out of there and bring this up.
Needs to be not guilty options for the subordinate charges under count 2.
I said that it made sense to me, but no, I did not change it upon looking at it because the verdict slip, this verdict slip as submitted to the jury, is exactly how it always is in Massachusetts.
Can I ask you a question then? I don't really care how it always is in Massachusetts. I care about whether or not it's appropriate.
It's appropriate.
Different things.
It's appropriate.
Let me make my argument, if you wouldn't mind, Judge, why it's not appropriate. For a superior charge, they have to decide that she is not guilty of the superior charge, and that is the starting point of whether or not she is guilty or not guilty of any subordinate charge, often called a lesser included. Once they decide that she's not guilty of the superior charge, now there's two additional charges that they've been instructed they must decide whether she's guilty or not guilty of. How do they decide that she's not guilty of the first subordinate charge, involuntary manslaughter?
Okay. Anything else you want to say, Mr. Jackson?
I'd like an answer from the court. How do they decide that she's not guilty of involuntary manslaughter on that verdict form?
That's their decision to make.
And how do they make it if they don't have an option to check a box that says not guilty?
They don't check the box that says guilty, do they? And then when they go to the next block, they don't check the block that says guilty, and on the top, you're left with not guilty. Okay?
So it's the
What
absence of the check mark that the court determines is the not guilty finding by the jury.
Yes, that's what the verdict slip reads.
I think that
okay,
this
we had to
Hold on, B.
jump
Hold
out of
on,
the video
B.
early for time's sake. The part I really wanted to show you, Dr. Sue, we didn't show, but Karen Reed was smiling. Perhaps we can take the freeze frame of her smiling. And the judge said, and I'm quoting here, "Excuse me, is this funny, Ms. Reed?" And then she said, "We're done." And that part of the record,
Yeah, again.
the session was adjourned. There it was there on the freeze frame. Okay.
I'll wait.
Dr. Sue, what does this say to you?
This is called the entitlement smirk. And people that do this smirk feel that they are entitled to special treatment. And that is what you saw and what your viewers saw right there.
Who
The
the hell
attorney
is
is
that?
arguing something that he saw prior to that being submitted to the court. That was already agreed upon. And
Right.
now he's coming back and saying that it has to be changed. This is for me, a cry for help. But her smirk there to me tells it all. And
Dr.
that's
Sue, thank you.
something that narcissists do, Julie.
Thank you so much for your expertise on that. I want to get some legal expertise now from attorney and law professor Wendy Murphy, practices in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Thank you for making time for us to pick your brain. Wendy, is Karen Reed legally asking for some special treatment on this verdict? I heard the judge say it's always done this way on every other case.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a lawyer objecting to a verdict slip, even if it's always been done a certain way. That's not wrong. What's wrong is the attitude. And I'm not just talking about Karen Reed smirking, but that is reflective of the attitude of Alan Jackson as well. I mean, who gets sassy and rude like this with a judge? It's not necessary. It doesn't win you any points. You don't gain an advantage. And the worst part is, of course, she's going to be convicted. I think we all know that. But now this is the judge who's going to determine her punishment. You don't want to piss off the judge that's going to determine your client's punishment, especially
Are you
today,
listening to
which
this
is such
lady
an
talk?
important day in terms of what the jury's doing. So, if you want to talk about the technical
Can
aspects
you
of his
believe what she's
objection,
saying? Of
he's
course,
saying
she's going to be convicted.
the jury should have a not
And
guilty option
this
for
is an
each of the
attorney
subcategories.
practicing in the
I
Commonwealth of
understand.
Massachusetts.
I can't pause the video, B, so you gotta let her talk.
Our viewers
Then you can do your
like
grievance
that Mr.
after.
Jackson was referencing.
Yes, and he's saying that because a charge in this case, you can see that the definition of it is at the top, offense 002, manslaughter while operating a motor vehicle under the influence. That's the charge, and that's the slip for that charge. But it has lesser included offense options. He wants there to be a not guilty category under each of the options, which is not how it works. And why did the judge snap back at him? Because number one, the not guilty option is right up front and center. It's the first option. So if they feel not guilty about that charge, regardless of how they feel about each individual subcategory, there it is, right at the top, not guilty. And it doesn't matter that they thought not guilty for option 1, option 2, and option 3. Not guilty is not guilty. The only thing they really have choices about are guilty for the different
She just made no
subcategories.
sense right
So
there.
he's ridiculous. And when he barked at the judge and said, I don't care how it's done in Massachusetts, that just tells you everything you need to know about what's wrong with this case. He's from Hollywood. He doesn't get the culture.
I can't
Oh
believe
my
the American
God.
Revolution started in this state.
That's partly why she's going to lose.
Wendy, appreciate your insights so much. Thank you for
I
that.
want
and Dr.
her
Sue,
put
final
back
words.
up
We're
here
watching
when the
Karen Reed
verdict comes back
exiting.
not guilty.
Oh, she looked mad, didn't she?
She sure did, because she didn't get what she wanted today, Julie. And that's all I have to say. I want everybody to stay tuned and watch what this verdict is going to be. And just realize that what we're dealing with here appears to be a narcissist that is covering up her own actions, in which I believe
Where the
is
hell
that
do they
she
get
did
these people?
kill John O'Keefe.
Dr. Sue Kornbluth, attorney, and Professor Wendy Murphy, thank you both so much for your expertise and insight. This
Well,
could
God
be
forbid, I
Karen
would
Reed's
never
last
want
day
any one of
freedom.
those
She is
two
out
people
on bond, and
to
depending on
represent
what the
me.
jury comes
That's
back
for
with,
damn
her
sure.
bond could be revoked. Our Matt Johnson's going to give us a live report from the courthouse next.
Okay, so they're saying that her bond could be revoked now?
If she's found guilty, I'm sure.
No, they're saying that if she comes back or whatever, they could revoke her bond. I mean, we'll just wait for the other guy to come back, ladies and gentlemen. While they're running their commercial, ladies and gentlemen, stick around for more of the FFN Network special. Karen Reed, the verdict didn't come in. We apologize for the thing. I really don't like apologizing, because FFN Network's purpose today was to sit and get ready to go in live mode when the verdict came back. I didn't have the chance to correct the opening comment to the show. So it says the verdict is in. I apologize. The jury has questions for the judge, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're reporting right now. And who knows? The verdict could come in while we're live. So don't leave us. You don't want to miss a trick. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this special edition of the FFN Network and the Court TV of Massachusetts versus Karen Reed. We will be right back in about 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around. You don't want to miss this shit. Right, B?
My name is Steven, your public relations officer at FFN Media Network. We believe that every story deserves to be heard. Every voice deserves to be amplified, and every idea deserves to shine. As a small media company, we are committed to creating a platform where content creators, visionaries, and changemakers like you can thrive. You might say to yourself, why do we need FFN Network? Well, let me tell you what we can do for you. 1. Our mission is simple: empower, elevate, and engage. We are not just another media outlet. 2. Our producers will help you build your show, add content, and put you on 15 different platforms. 3. We help you promote your show. Whether it is through captivating articles, thought-provoking videos, or inspiring podcasts, we are here to help you make a difference. What sets us apart? At FFN Media Network, we embrace hard work. Our team of talented producers and creators come from all social classes, ensuring that our content reflects a rich tapestry of experiences, cultures, and viewpoints. Join the FFN team. Join FFN Media Network and be part of a community that celebrates creativity, authenticity, and positive impact. Let us amplify your voice and share your story on FFN Network and with the world. Get to know our founder, Blaise St. Pierre, the new guy in the media industry. So if you have a great idea for a show or a business and want to place an ad on FFN Network, give us a call at 774-704-5145 or email us at ffnnetwork9@gmail.com and join the FFN Network family. Thank you. FFN Network.
I've got spare parts from my last broken heart. Somehow more than what I had to start. Yeah, I've got spare parts. I tried to fix it best I remembered it. I hope it runs when I fire it up, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be a perfect fit, 'cause I got spare parts. Took a piece of you, like lovers often do. I'll try to make it good as new, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare parts. What's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and here we are with more. Give me a sec. They just popped on as soon as we got done.
You said before you retired and you needed to think about it was you agreed that there needs to be not guilty options for the subordinate charges under count 2.
I said that it made sense to me, but no, I did not change it upon looking at it, because the verdict slip, this verdict slip as submitted to the jury, is exactly how it always is in Massachusetts.
I ask you a question then. I don't really care how it always is in Massachusetts. I care about whether or not it's appropriate.
It's appropriate.
Different things.
It's appropriate.
Let me make my argument, if you wouldn't mind, Judge, why it's not appropriate. For a superior charge, they have to decide that she is not guilty of the superior charge, and that is the starting point of whether or not she is guilty or not guilty of any subordinate charge, often called a lesser included. Once they decide that she's not guilty of the superior charge, now there's two additional charges that they've been instructed they must decide whether she's guilty or not guilty of. How do they decide that she's not guilty of the first subordinate charge, involuntary manslaughter?
At the end of this heated exchange with Alan Jackson, the defense attorney, then the judge looks over at the defendant, and this is how it all ended.
Yes, that's what the verdict slip reads. It reads not guilty. If they don't check block 2, 3, or 4, the verdict slip reads not guilty. Okay? That's how it is, Mr. Jackson.
Well, apparently.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, I mean, let's just give the guilty bitch a fair trial and then hang her. How about that? Wow.
That's immediately appealable. They didn't have an option on the verdict form to find her not guilty. It's almost like the court is directing a verdict of the subordinate charges.
Okay. I disagree with you. Mr. Yannetti, you've seen verdict slips exactly like this. Okay?
I actually haven't really.
Have you had no lesser includeds?
No, we've always had lesser includeds, but I have not seen a verdict slip there where not guilty is not an option for the defendant.
Okay, I disagree with you. All right, excuse me. This is funny, Ms. Reed?
Yeah, that's how it ended. This is the first time that we've seen the judge get that frustrated. Again, this is outside of the presence of the jury and also addressing the demeanor of this defendant, saying, Ms. Reed, is this funny? I didn't see her face during that moment. I'm in the gallery in the media section, but we were all looking at each other. The media that has covered this case from the beginning, Ted, for the past 9 weeks, and it was kind of a shocking moment to be in that courtroom during that.
Yeah, obviously the judge was projecting
Well,
her
a shocking moment for
frustration
what? Because she smiled?
out, and at the end,
No, because they
defendant
can't
who
believe
was reacting
what the hell is
clearly to
going
the
on.
decision
The
by the
absolute
judge
miscarriage
with
of justice.
one of those smirks, like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me, with a
It's got to
smile,
be that.
and
It
that
must be
triggered
that.
it.
I mean,
You could say
don't
what you
forget,
want
these people have been
about that, but
spending a good portion of their career in a courtroom watching court proceedings, and crap like this just can't freaking be happening.
Days, weeks, months,
To me, it's clear to me that this judge, her carpet matches the drapes. She's blonde and she's showing it. If she comes out and believes that this jury form is correct and it's appropriate. Unbelievable.
It doesn't have all their alerts set, hopefully court TV, for
Well,
any action,
B,
any verdict in this case.
She said, sorry, ladies and
Right,
gentlemen.
and we're at
She
4
said it's a
hours and
standard
20
form that they all
minutes
use,
here in
right?
this deliberation
That's
in
what she
this
said.
verdict
But
watch.
then
And
the
at the end
prosecutor
of that,
came out and
tensions
said
are running
he
high
hasn't
after
seen a form
this
like
long
this,
prep work for these attorneys. Alan Jackson
formatted
left the
like this
courtroom by
before.
saying, I got to get out of here. And that's when they descended down.
Oh.
the
And again,
steps.
this guy
They
isn't
were
the first
greeted with
one.
their
This isn't his
supporters.
first
Hundreds
case.
of people
I'm
that
sure
are
he's
lining up
had
across
quite
the street
a
outside the
career
courthouse, wearing
in the
pink and
courtroom
holding signs in
prosecuting
support of Karen Reed.
prosecuting people
They
for crimes.
cheered as the Reed team walked to the church next door that they've rented the hall there. As that's where they wait during these deliberations. We've seen the number of supporters grow over the days and over the past few weeks and months. Outside of the growing number of supporters, you also have media from across the globe. There's some media members here shooting documentaries. There's others as far away as Germany that are here doing live reports and updates for their viewers. And then out in front of the courthouse, again, these supporters are to be kept at least 200 feet away from the courthouse steps. So you have traffic regulators, and you also have state police that are in front of the courthouse while court is in session. There's helicopters above head. It's quite the scene out here, Ted.
I can imagine, and just seeing the pictures, it's extraordinary. And this has been the case since this began, this case. There were throngs of people showing up for pretrial hearings, where usually there's open seating. This is a much different scenario, and you have to wonder, at the end of it, what happens? You know, it's going to be chaotic no matter what. And I know you're in the middle of it all, and you'll be with us throughout the day. Matt Johnson is camped out, ready to roll. If there's anything, of course, we'll turn to Matt for guidance as we move forward, as we wait and see what this jury does. They're continuing to work despite the actions inside the courthouse. Let's bring in Krista Ramey. She's watching along with us. What's your take on Alan Jackson's argument that on this verdict form that there should be more options? That we just had it up on the screen there. That at the top it says not guilty, and then you have the options for guilty. To me, I can see what is going on here. If you think she's guilty, well then tell me which of what. And if you think she's not guilty, well, that's obvious. It's not guilty at the top. Your thoughts?
As I'm looking at this verdict form, it does look confusing to me. Now, I'm one of those fancy California lawyers, I guess, too, right? But I also know that these things are heavily negotiated. And, you're looking at the verdict form as it's going in. You're reading each interrogatory and kind of walking yourself through it as the lawyer to make sure that it's perfect. And it sounded like that there was a conversation about it yesterday before the form went back into the jury deliberation room. And Alan Jackson thought, I guess, it sounded like from his argument this morning, that he thought that maybe it was going to be changed, and it wasn't. And so he rightly objected. What I thought was completely out of line, however, was his tone. And maybe I'm particularly sensitive because I'm a woman and I see how women judges get treated, but the way he spoke to the court is not okay. It does not reflect the deportment and decorum that you would expect to see from a lawyer.
Where do they get these?
Oh, come on. What is he supposed to be, like, nice or whatever? He's trying to get his client off.
That kind of spilled over into how
Is he supposed to be completely emotionless? Is he supposed to not take any issue with the fact that there is something that is terribly egregious happening to his client?
Smiling and barked at her.
Where do they get these people?
The judge has been in 1,000 courtrooms, and a defendant is there for a finite amount of time and is reacting to decisions that could, factor into their life, moving forward.
Yeah,
I suppose this makes for good viewing statistics and for raising up your viewership, because people want to see reality television, for Christ's sake. And this isn't reality television. They were talking about the life and livelihood of a human being here, of a woman here who's obviously being railroaded.
Ever good. So I think that was probably a reflection of that. I think it's unfortunate because I don't think that Judge Cannon should have reacted to her in that way, because you do need to make sure that you are looking like the neutral arbiter of everything when you're on the bench. And particularly if there's a verdict that results in a conviction of any type for Miss Reed, she's going to be the one that is going to be expressing the judgment. And so you want to make sure that you come across as neutral and fair.
Right. I mean, there was, you don't say, you think this is funny to someone that you're buddies with. You obviously, she's got some issues with.
And we have a comment in from Kim Medeiros Parker. I truly hope justice is found for Officer O'Keefe and his family. Absolutely. That is ultimately the exact goal that needs to be sought. And clearly,
it's the same set of evidence.
It's going to be very hard to accept that through this trial, justice has been served.
I agree with Kim Parker as well. Okay? Yes, and we're focusing more on Karen Reed. Guilty or not guilty. But again, like Kim Parker had just said, justice for Officer O'Keefe is definitely number one priority.
In terms of being split.
Right.
I just don't think she did it. Plain and simple.
On my TikTok page,
I'm in complete agreement with you here, Blaze. For the longest time through the entire trial, I tried to keep myself absolutely neutral, but there were just so many things that were coming out. There was that seemed like that they were taking and scaring this lady, and things that nothing that just added up. It was very hard to not draw a conclusion for Karen Reed as being not guilty when witnessing what was going on through all of this. I'm just hoping and praying that the people that are on this jury can sort through all of the muck and mire and come to
a quick verdict.
A reasonable version of truth.
The jury kind of indicated that they don't
which
think
is
it's going to be today.
what the word verdict means. Truth.
Sure that they stopped today at 4:30 because the juror has
to say the very least, it is a distressing time in the history of trial court issues.
One was the I hit him. The other, they
and frankly, I'm quite glad that I never became an attorney because I would be so sick at this point.
This is allegedly after she hit him intentionally with her vehicle, left him to die in the snow. And then as she gets away and she's fleeing.
Ladies and gentlemen, 508-974-4231. I know there are people that are out there that are watching this and they have opinions. We'd like to hear from you. Call us And
the idea,
let's hear what you
that,
have to say
I
about
mean,
what's
well,
going
let's
on.
listen to him. Then we'll talk.
Again, the phones are open 508-974-4231. Give us a shout. Let's hear what you have to
Okay,
say,
B.
what you think about this.
And with the court's permission, if I could play that for the jury.
Yes.
Third message, what time is that received?
12:59.
John, I'm here with your kids. Nobody knows what the you want. Pervert.
With regard to the fifth message, what time was that received by Mr. O'Keefe's phone?
1:11 a.m.
Yes, 1 in the morning. I'm with your niece and nephew. You pervert. You're a pervert.
In the sixth message, sir, what time was that received by Mr. O'Keefe's phone?
1:18 a.m.
John, I'm going home. I cannot babysit your niece. I need to go home. You are you busy right now. Another girl, you sleeping next to me. You're a loser. Self.
The seventh message, sir, what time was that received by Mr. O'Keefe's phone?
5:23 a.m.
It's hard for me to think that she intentionally ran him over, left him to die in the
Exactly.
snow.
Thanks,
and then,
buddy. Even
and then
he
calls and
questions it.
berates him. But maybe the state thinks that this just shows that she's an unstable person, drunk and crazy. Your thoughts on whether it helps or if should the Commonwealth have leaned into this in the close?
I don't think so. I agree with you, Ted. I think that this evidence cuts, I think, both ways, and it maybe even more kind of favors the idea
She got
did not
into a big fight with him that
I
night.
think that they separated that
Okay,
night
they
because
got into
were
a
in
huge fight. Okay, so yeah,
now
she's
she's like,
calling
"Why
him
aren't
up,
you
calling
home
him a
yet?
fucking asshole
you
and
should've
all of
been
this
Uber a
shit
while
like
ago
that. You know what I
and been
mean?
home."
Yeah,
So
she's
this
angry,
more looks to
and
me
he
like
had
this is a
drinks.
continuation of that fight that happened, and she doesn't have any clue
Okay, but
that
the same.
that
She was
anything
angry and
happened to him in
whatever
terms
else in these
of
things, but
her
she's
responsibility.
taking care
So
or
I
babysitting
think
his
it does
kids.
go both ways. I'll say that as a trial lawyer, sometimes we get caught up
At
in
what
the
point
case and in the
did
evidence, and
she
we see
allegedly
things through
kill him
our
and
own
then
tunnel
take care of
vision. We drank
take
our
care
own
of the
Kool-Aid,
children?
and we have our beliefs about what people should, how people
What
should view the evidence, because that's how we view it. And I
again?
think that might be what Mr. Lally has
This
done
just
here.
doesn't make any
He
sense
looks at this as
whatsoever.
clear evidence of motive, where the flip
Well,
side
we
of that
can't just keep
evidence,
sitting
he's
here
not really
and
seeing
saying
and
it doesn't
analyzing
make
the same
sense.
way.
Well, we
And
know
I
it
think that
doesn't
might be
make sense. That's
problematic
why
in
we're
terms of how
covering it,
he
and we
did
think
this
she's being
bit of
set up.
evidence.
And I don't know what these people, from what these, this woman and the other two women was stating, is I think they're just not happy because he's a Hollywood lawyer. What the hell has that got to do with
Take
anything?
it a lot more seriously and get to that second
You know,
level of analyzing.
a very
everything
dear
beyond
friend
it.
of
It's
mine
including
that I used to work with,
those who voice messages, which yes, on
that left the field that we were working in, and he became an attorney. He told me that there was one of his professors that told him, when you have the law, pound on the law. When you have the facts, pound on the fact. When you don't have anything, pound on the desk. And I want to be these people's desk salesmen, because that's all they're doing is pounding on the freaking desk, because they ain't got jack
There's our
shit.
camera. There's that fan, the famous fan.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Reed and company, they're at the church.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so they're going to run the commercial. And okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I have here, okay, a Commonwealth of Massachusetts District Court, Department of the Trial Courts, okay? This is a sample. I had to sign a paper saying that I wouldn't use it. Larceny by stealing sample jury verdict. I can get in trouble. Okay. This is instructions 8.521 are reserved. This was from January 13th. Now, as far as I understand, the judge didn't say it was changed after January 13th, 2023, 2013. Sorry, folks. So I'm gonna throw that up there. The sample that I have, ladies and gentlemen, it looks nothing like what she showed. Like that one was just created, to be honest with you. So, let's take a quick look here. Okay, so as you see, it's telling me that I can get in trouble. It's a Commonwealth of Massachusetts District Court, Department of the Trial Courts. Okay, and division, complaint number, Commonwealth jury. We, the jury, unanimously return the following verdicts: not guilty, guilty. I'm just going to show the top one because it says it all the way down, and that's what that goddamn defense attorney was arguing. It only has not guilty once. Not guilty, guilty. Again, we also find the Commonwealth has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the value of the stolen property, whatever, stuff like that. Date and signature. That's all this shows me here.
And we have another comment here from Kim Madeira. Says, I'm with you guys. I believe she is innocent. Kim, thank you very much for your comment. If you'd like to share further comments or more opinion, please feel free to pick up the phone and call us, or anyone else out there in the e-world, so forth, that's watching. 508-974-4231. Continue, please, but go ahead.
Thank you, B. All right, here's another sample, okay? This says, on the change of kidnap, these are other cases. Again, look, not guilty, guilty. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Yes, no, yes, no. I mean, I would have been happy with yes, no up there.
It's amazing.
Those are just some examples that I had.
Now,
because I don't know what. I don't know if, again, those were both from Massachusetts. Yes, one was a kidnapping case and another one was for larceny. But if a jury sequestered form, I'm sorry, a jury deliberation form, wouldn't they all be the same?
This is where I've got some information that I think would be helpful to that question. I actually have studied and been involved in the Massachusetts court system a number of times in civil and in criminal cases. And
troublemaker.
At the time, it depended on each individual county. One county may have forms that were formatted a little bit different than the other, than the next county over. So there could be a change somewhere or discrepancy between, let's say, Middlesex, what was Middlesex County in Massachusetts versus a paper's format or a form that's given to the court in the Northern Worcester or the Western Massachusetts, whatever counties they have out there. I have actually seen it. So yeah, it could be sort of a confusing corn maze, so to speak. But if you are an attorney admitted to the court system to the bar in Massachusetts, and you're serving in the court system, obviously you should be able to discern where you are and what format a court requires for filings, for forms, and so forth. But in the end result, the questions asked and the questions are to be answered about exactly the same way.
I'm not disagreeing with you, B. You know, deliberation underway in Mass versus Karen Reed story here. And this is just, her. She has a lot of people
today at
that
4
don't
o'clock Eastern
that believe
time
she's
because of
innocent.
some appointments that have been established by some of the jurors, or at least one of the jurors. So that's where we stand. Quite a scene outside a courthouse.
So just exactly what the title says: kill or cover up
accused of
murder.
killing a cop. and these people believe she's not guilty.
This
It's
is one of
something
the
else, and
strangest
we'll continue to follow it and
trials that
wait on pins and
I've
needles for any
seen that comes to
developments.
mind
As
in the
soon as
Commonwealth
anything
of
happens, we'll bring
Massachusetts
them to
in
you,
a
of
very
course, right
long
here
time. You know,
on Court TV. While we wait,
what
we
it,
are
it sort
updating
of
other
smacks of, if you
we
ask me,
courtrooms across the country every day here.
Lizzie
Courtrooms. We're
Borden.
going to dip into some coverage here. We've been
What about her?
I mean, that trial must have been equally as screwed up as what this is.
I got to be honest with you, pal. I don't think that's. We can't discuss that with this. Was you there to see it? I wasn't there to see it. B.
No, but the stories and the records and so forth of the Borden trial were equally as incredibly screwed up. I mean, if anybody was, as I say, given a fair trial and then given the guilty bitch a fair trial and then hang her, it had to be Lizzie Borden.
So, sorry. Getting back to comments.
Yes, have a lot to do. I'll keep checking in. Hashtag free Karen Reed. Kim Medeiros, thank you very, very much. Kim Medeiros Parker, thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. Spread the word. Talk to your friends. Let them know that we're here. We've got over 550 people have been watching. Over 600 at our peak at this point, and we thank you all, viewers. We wish we had better content or more. I shouldn't say better, but better information and content for you at this time, but unfortunately things just aren't very well forthcoming from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and their court system. We were told that there are questions coming from the jury, but unfortunately we don't know exactly what these jury questions are. They have not made them known, and I can understand that to a point, being that the jury is sequestered. When you sequester, you don't do sequester only a part of the thing. Everything would have to be kept behind closed doors.
Right.
However long this is going to take, I don't know. By virtue of the fact that a question came out and it was something of that nature, my best guess is that maybe not this afternoon, but probably by midday tomorrow, we may very well have a verdict. What are your thoughts, Mr. Blazeman?
I think we might have a verdict today.
Really?
That's why we're here.
Okay. Well, I certainly hope, no matter what time they bring out a verdict, that the verdict that comes out is reasonable and true, and one that well, obviously, not everybody in the world is going to be able to live with. If they come out with a guilty verdict, there are going to be a lot of people that are upset. If they come out with an innocent or not guilty verdict, there are going to be a lot of people that are upset. This is something that has stressed and strained the community, and not only the public community, but the legal community as well, and with good reason. And I'm kind of wondering now what on the inside, if you will, behind the blue shield, behind the blue curtain, things might be toiling, boiling, and bubbling and gubbling between peoples there as well that are looking at this. Certainly, there are so many different facets. There are so many different nuances in this entire matter, not only in the case as it was presented, but in all of the backstories as well. And I don't think that this is over from any point of view. There's going to be a lot of things that are going on, and there may be emerging and coming forth still, even after the resolution, if we're lucky enough to have a resolution of this case in our time. That all having been said, we have to rely now on the conscience of the people that are sitting behind those doors in that room that are hashing this thing out. I can only wonder what is going through the minds of the people that are in there. Do we have any other information about the jury process, Mr. Blazeman?
No, nothing's popping up right now. I'm just reading comments on X and stuff.
Please go ahead. If you got
well,
some, please go
some
ahead, share.
people, some people just have no patience. I was explaining to everybody it was an error. There is no verdict. Stop it. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Some people, they're just, they're out there. You know what I mean? I'm trying to correct it, but X doesn't give me the option to correct it. I corrected it on multiple platforms already. Again, sorry, and we apologize for the description, ladies and gentlemen. Again, FFN Network was and is prepared to jump live the minute the verdict came in. Jumped the gun a little bit early and stated that the verdict was in, and I didn't have the time to change it because things were happening so fast. So I apologize for those who think the verdict is in and all of that stuff like that. So.
All right. Well, we're coming up on the 11:30 hour. I believe we got to pay a couple of bills, take a break. If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Blazeman, are we going to slide out for about a 3 or 4 minute period of time?
We're going to take our break, yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back in probably about 3.5, 4 minutes time. I'm Mr. B, Mr. Blazeman here for FFN Network. We'll see you in a few.
My name is Steven, your public relations officer at FFN Media Network. We believe that every story deserves to be heard. Every voice deserves to be amplified, and every idea deserves to shine. As a small media company, we are committed to creating a platform where content creators, visionaries, and changemakers like you can thrive. You might say to yourself, why do we need FFN Network? Well, let me tell you what we can do for you. 1, our mission is simple: empower, elevate, and engage. We are not just another media outlet. 2, our producers will help you build your show, add content, and put you on 15 different platforms. 3, we help you promote your show. Whether it is through captivating articles, thought-provoking videos, or inspiring podcasts, we are here to help you make a difference. What sets us apart? At FFN Media Network, we embrace hard work. Our team of talented producers and creators come from all social classes, ensuring that our content reflects a rich tapestry of experiences, cultures, and viewpoints. Join the FFN team. Join FFN Media Network and be part of a community that celebrates creativity, authenticity, and positive impact. Let us amplify your voice and share your story on FFN Network and with the world. Get to know our founder, Blaise St. Pierre, the new guy in the media industry. So if you have a great idea for a show or a business and want to place an ad on FFN Network, give us a call at 774-704-5145 or email us at ffnnetwork9@gmail.com. And join the FFN Network family. Thank you. FFN Network.
Well, I've got spare parts from my last broken heart. Somehow more than what I had to start. Yeah, I've got spare parts. I tried to fix it best I remembered it. I hope it runs when I fire it up, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that anything you can use. What's left of it might be a perfect fit, 'cause I got spare parts. He took a piece of you, like lovers often do. I'll try to make it good as new, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare parts. What's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for sticking around for a special edition of the FFN Network. I am one of your hosts, Blazeman. Mr. B had to step out. He, one of my colleagues here on the FFN Network, Politicking with Mr. B is his show, and will be on tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on the FFN Network, Eastern Standard Time for all shows. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the error with the verdict is in. FFN's network's intention is not to, fool anybody. FFN Network was preparing for the verdict to come in when the court TV had told us that the jury had a question for the judge, and then the defense attorney started questioning the deliberation form for the jury, and that's where we are now. Deliberation underway. Still, the jury has been deliberating for 4 hours and 55 minutes now. It is 3:34 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, I apologize for the error in saying the verdict is in. Okay, because let's just face it, some of yous are not nice, okay, and just asking if it's an error, I would have told you it's an error. I'm trying to do my due diligence in fixing the error as we are live, and again, apologize to our viewers for the error. The verdict is not in the Karen Reed trial. Okay. It was an error on the FFN network part. Again, I don't like saying errors or anything and apologizing, and I'm sorry, because our intention was to report the verdict when it came in. Unfortunately, when the defense had a question for the deliberation form, and the jury had questions for the judge. So that's where we're at, and we are here waiting on if the verdict does come in today or tomorrow. Again, FFN Network will cover it live. Would like to thank Court TV for allowing FFN Network to share their content with you fine folks over the internet airways. Now, with that being said, again, if you have any comments, excuse me, send them on over. And do you think that she was is she being set up? Is she being framed? Or did she actually commit the murder? My personal opinion is I think that she is not guilty. I don't think she had anything to do with this at all. I think when she dropped him off at the party, during some of the trial testimony that I hear, there was one guy that kind of liked her and stuff like that. This is all speculation on my part and how I think that things went down, in the fact that she dropped him off at the house, some kind of argument ensued, and they beat the man to death. They weren't trying to beat the man to death. It was a fight or whatever. And now they got to cover it up. That's just it. That's my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm sticking to it, man. Oh, boy. I'm trying to adjust this too as I can. There we go. Let me get that down just a little bit. Again, the jury is still deliberating on the Karen Reed, Mass versus Karen Reed murder trial. They have been deliberating now for 4 hours and 58 minutes, soon to be 4 hours and 59 minutes, soon to be 5 hours. Again, ladies and gentlemen, there was an error on the FFN network part that says that the verdict is in. The verdict is not in, ladies and gentlemen. FFN network was prepared to jump on live when the verdict came in. We had gotten information that the defense attorney had questions about the deliberation form and that the jury had questions for the judge. We covered that. Again, in the era is being fixed as we speak with the other platforms that we are on. We're not just on X, ladies and gentlemen. We are on Daily Motion. We are on Travo. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitch. We are on, everywhere. I got a paper of the list that we're on. So we're just everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. That's the bottom line, because we broadcast live everywhere. And again, if I can get my paperwork going here, I can give you that. So again, we are on live right now. We are on Kick. Okay, we're on Facebook. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're on X. We're on LinkedIn. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're on Telegram. We're on D Live. We're on Daily Motion. We're on Trovo. Okay, that's where we are right now, live. Okay. With that being said, we're trying to correct the error. I apologize to all the viewers that are watching us right now. And there's 600 of you. Okay. And we appreciate that. And again, the error was that the verdict was in. We corrected the error. We're correcting it live as we speak. The verdict is not in. The defense attorney had questions about the deliberation form for the jury, and the jury had a question for the judge. Okay. And that was the breaking news, is we known it. We're covering it. We covered it now. The jury has been deliberating for 5 hours now, and we're waiting for the verdict to come in. When the verdict comes in, FFN Network will be here live to report it. Again, we apologize for the error saying the verdict was in. Stick around, keep an eye, like and follow the FFN Network, ladies and gentlemen. We have shows Monday through Friday. Every show on FFN Network, ladies and gentlemen, is a live show. When it's done, You could go back and watch it if you missed it, if you got a favorite show. Okay. On Tuesday nights is The Way We See It from 7 to 9 p.m. right here on the FFN network. Wednesday is Politicking with Mr. B from 7 to 8 p.m., followed by I-12 GIA, Real Talk with Real People. Some of these guys are from Special Forces, and that show is Wednesday nights from 7 to 9:30 p.m., followed by Thursday with the Miss Tammy and Blazeman show, 7 to 8 p.m. The FFN network is proud to announce that we should be seeing at least 3 more shows coming to the network. Again, if you're following the Karen Reed court case, okay, we'll give you some more information. Watch now.
To experience as we help our parents go into assisted living. This is something my husband and I had to work through with our parents. And
That's another trial, ladies and gentlemen. I brought it up because the woman that was talking was also talking about the Karen Reed stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, FFN Network will be back. Johnny on the spot. If anything develops in the Karen Reed case, okay, come right here to the FFN Network on X, on Kicks, on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Telegram, DLive, Daily Motion, and Treble. We are live on every one of those platforms right now. Like, share, follow us on X, because when that verdict comes out, we're going to be one of the top ones that are going to be reporting it. Again, FFN Network would like to thank and appreciate Court TV's effort in allowing us to broadcast this information on the Karen Reed case. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around. I'm telling you right now, keep an eye on the FFN Network. If anything develops on the Karen Reed case, we will be here. Don't forget to check out the Politicking with Mr. B tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. And don't forget to get to watch I-12 GIA, Real Talk with Real People from 8 to 9:30 p.m. right here on the FFN Network, ladies and gentlemen. Peace, love, and we'll catch you. Anything develops in this Karen Reed story, we will catch you. We are going to cover, the Alec Baldwin shooting in the making of his movie. We will be covering that also. With that being said, stick around. Anything happens on this verdict, we will be here. Thank you for tuning in to the FFN Network. We will see you soon.
You have just watched an FFN Network production.